Welcome to our channel. Now, you know I'm all for a bit of home improvement, a little spruce up here and there. We're going to be delving into the do's and don'ts, the absolute no-nos, the things that'll make a Feng Shui master faint dead away. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's make sure your 2025 is filled with good vibes only, darling. Right, on with the show. Are you ready to navigate the Feng Shui taboos and considerations for 2025, the year of the wood snake? Let's dive in. Right, first up, let's talk renovations. We all love a good before and after, don't we? But before you go knocking down walls willy-nilly, listen up. The South Sector in 2025? Off limits, darling. That's where the Tai Sui, the god of the year, is hanging out, and he does not appreciate being disturbed. And while we're at it, the Southwest, give that a wide berth too. Lots of clashing energy there. Now, I'm not saying you can't even change a light bulb, but major construction? Best avoided. Heavy-duty stuff like digging, demolishing, anything that really kicks up a fuss, keep it well away from those unlucky directions. Think of it like this. You wouldn't throw a party in the middle of a library, would you? Same principle. And timing is everything, isn't it? There are certain months where the energy is particularly volatile. Trust me, a little Feng Shui forethought goes a long way. Now, we've talked about the South being a bit of a no-go zone, but what about the rest of the compass? Well, the Southwest, as we mentioned, is also a bit spicy. Think of it as the area where you might accidentally bump into your ex. Best to steer clear. The Southeast is a bit more forgiving, but still proceed with caution. It's not a place for big, bold moves. Think of it as the quiet carriage on a train. You can be there, just keep it down, alright? The key takeaway here is to minimize disturbance in these areas. Imagine you're trying to sneak out of the house after curfew. Quiet, respectful, and hoping for the best. Now, remember those volatile months I mentioned? Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting. These are the times when even the smallest actions can have big consequences. Moving house during a conflict month? Don't even think about it. It's like trying to change a tire on a moving car, recipe for disaster. And starting renovations? Darling, you're basically asking for trouble. Breaking ground during these times is a big no-no. It's like announcing your biggest secrets on a loudspeaker. Not exactly the best way to attract good fortune. And if you're thinking of signing any important contracts, put the pen down and step away from the dotted line. The same goes for any major changes in those affected sectors we talked about. Lay low, ride out the storm, and save the big decisions for another day. And if you found this advice helpful, please consider donating to our PayPal account. The link is in the description box. Thank you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Graham, does this affect everyone equally? And the answer, my dears, is a resounding no. Just like some people are allergic to cats, and others can't resist a good cuddle, some zodiac signs are going to feel the effects of these Feng Shui taboos more than others. First up, we have the snakes themselves. It's their year. You'd think they'd be safe, wouldn't you? But alas, no. It's actually a time of great change and upheaval for them. Think of it like being the birthday boy or girl. All eyes are on you, and the pressure is on. Next, we have the pigs. Now, pigs are usually quite laid back, but they're directly opposite the snake on the zodiac wheel, which can create some friction. It's like having your in-laws over for the weekend. You love them, but it's a lot of energy to handle. Monkeys, our mischievous friends, are also in for a bit of a bumpy ride. They've got some challenging aspects to contend with, so they'll need to be extra careful. It's like trying to juggle 5 plates while riding a unicycle. Doable, but requires skill and concentration. And last but not least, we have the tigers. Now, tigers are strong and independent, but even they will feel the pressure this year. So, we've covered the when and the who, but what about the where? Are there specific areas in your home that are more susceptible to these Feng Shui shenanigans? Why, yes indeedy. South-facing rooms? Consider them off-limits for any major changes. Remember the Tai Sui? He's still lurking, and he's got his eye on you. Southwest bedrooms? Darling, you're basically asking for a year of restless nights and bad dreams. Main entrances in those affected sectors? It's like rolling out the red carpet for bad luck. And home offices and conflict zones? say goodbye to productivity, and hello to stress and frustration. Now, I'm not saying you need to move house or start sleeping in the garden shed, but a little awareness goes a long way. Now, before you panic and start boarding up your windows, let's talk about remedies. Because just like a good hairspray can tame even the most unruly mane, there are ways to mitigate these feng shui challenges. Metal, my dears, is your new best friend. Think metallic decor, silver picture frames, maybe even a cheeky disco ball in the south sector. It's like wearing garlic to ward off vampires. Not exactly stylish, but it gets the job done. White and gray are also good choices for those affected areas. They're calming, neutralizing colors, like a big warm hug for your home. And if you're feeling fancy, certain crystals are said to offer protection. Think of it as giving your home its own personal bodyguard. Wind chimes in the appropriate sectors can also help to disperse negative energy. Just make sure they're not too loud or clangy. We're going for serenity, not a wind orchestra. Now, for all you entrepreneurs and girl bosses out there, listen up. Feng Shui isn't just about your home, darling, it applies to your business too. And trust me, you don't want to mess with this stuff when it comes to your livelihood. Opening a new shop? Fantastic! Just make sure the front door isn't facing south. Remember the Tai Sui? He's not exactly known for his business acumen. And major investments in the south sector? Darling, you might as well just set your money on fire. Expanding your business in those affected directions is like trying to swim upstream. You might eventually get there, but it's going to be a struggle. And as for important meetings, keep them out of those unlucky sectors, unless you want to end up with a deal that's about as appealing as a cold cup of tea. Right, let's talk furniture, shall we? Because even the way you arrange your home can impact the energy flow. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Sometimes it just doesn't work. First things first, if your main door faces south, you might want to consider a screen or a strategically placed plant to redirect the energy. Think of it as a polite detour sign for any wandering bad vibes. And those southwest bedrooms we talked about, if you can avoid sleeping there, do. But if you're stuck, make sure the bed isn't in line with the door. It's like sleeping with one eye open. Not exactly conducive to a good night's rest. Moving furniture around is generally fine, but avoid doing it in those affected sectors during those volatile months. And if you're thinking of building an extension or adding a conservatory, make sure it's not in one of those unlucky directions. Now, darling, you didn't think we'd forget about health, did you? Because Feng Shui isn't just about aesthetics and good fortune, it's about creating a harmonious environment that supports your overall well-being. First and foremost, pay attention to your sleep direction. Ideally, your head should be pointing towards a favorable direction, like east or southeast. Think of it as giving your body a head start on a good night's sleep. If you exercise at home, try to avoid doing it in those affected sectors. Remember, we're trying to minimize disturbance in those areas. The same goes for meditation spaces. Choose a calm, quiet spot that's free from negative energy. And if you have a dedicated treatment room or healing area, make sure it's in a favorable location. And finally, let's talk about matters of the heart. Because even Cupid himself has to answer to the laws of Feng Shui. Planning a wedding? Congratulations. Just make sure you avoid those conflict months when choosing a date. Trust me, the last thing you want is a runaway bride or a groom who's suddenly developed cold feet. And if you're thinking of moving in with your significant other, avoid doing it during those volatile periods. It's like adding fuel to the fire. You might end up with more passion than you bargained for. Major relationship decisions like proposals or even breakups should also be approached with caution during those unlucky times. Remember, timing is everything. And finally, if you're single and ready to mingle, try to avoid spending too much time in those affected sectors. So there you have it, darlings. Your crash course in Feng Shui Taboos for 2025. Remember, respect the Tai Sui, keep those unlucky sectors quiet, and avoid making any major changes during those volatile months. Think of it like this. Feng Shui is like a cosmic sat-nav guiding you towards a smoother, more harmonious journey in 2025. And who doesn't want that? Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry. We've got you covered. For a personalized Feng Shui consultation, just drop us a line. Details are in the description box below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fabulous Feng Shui tips. Maintain harmony and positive energy throughout the year. For a tailor-made Feng Shui consultation, send us an email. Details in the description box. Thank you for watching.